Good evening and welcome to Good Guy Sports. I am your host, Jackson Gerke, alongside with our co-host, Blake Gerke, Mike Roby. BL Blake Lumberger is under the weather. He currently has COVID, so he'll still be with us. He may not um we will have to wait and see, but if he's able to join us, but um if he isn't, we will we will hope and wish him the best. But in the meantime, let's get right to it and talk some NFL football. We are going to start off with and get right to the preview game tonight and tomorrow. Starting off with the Ravens and Chiefs, which in the first game, believe it or not, tonight in the which will take place, happen to be in the virtual background just right behind me at Arrowhead Stadium, which by the way is right next to Kauffman Stadium, home of the Kansas City Royals. Um, and it's so there's so much excitement and vibe and really the atmosphere of Kansas City. They're known for their barbecue. It's a great tailgating football town. They're very passionate, they're sports fans, and the Chiefs Kingdom's gonna really kick it in gear and just get this football season going like ever before. And and it will be one of the most and really and really the I think everybody um in the sports world wants to know if the Kansas City Chiefs will be the first team in NFL modern history to do the unpredictable and thinkable, that is repeat, which would be the most bold statement, thanks in large part of Patrick Holmes in a podcast show to see that he says that we're going to do it, but the media says there is no shot and no chance that this team makes it back to the Super Bowl. Although people who work with sports media say it's not going to happen, even though that's the reality of the NFL. And I just think that, but to me personally, I think the Chiefs will do the unpredictable, and that is repeat as Super Bowl champions. They are back and they are bigger, back better than ever. They have Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and all their fans kingdom. But if you look at Kansas City overall, the city, great city for the Chiefs, but it's not just a Chiefs football town. They're also known for the Negro League Museum for baseball. So you might want to check that out on your bucket list. If you haven't been, I would highly recommend it. But back to football for a second right now. So I mentioned the Ravens and the Chiefs. The Chiefs have had their number against the Ravens. They're like 4-1 against the spread of the Ravens. Well, when I look at the Ravens, they just added the big running bowling ball guy of Derrick Henry, the big bully running the fastest running back on the team of Derrick Henry, who is just a beast. But I don't think it's going to be enough. But I think the Ravens are going to get better and try to get better and better every year. But to me, I think the Chiefs are going to win the game tonight. They are going to cover the spread, and Kansas City will go 5-1 against 5-1 record over the Ravens. Only suffering their only loss. The Chiefs will win their last 5 games over the Ravens. Chiefs win. That's who I'm taking. So let me ask you guys in the panel. Do you agree with my pick?
I certainly think Kansas City is going to be coming in with a lot of momentum, obviously. Um, they're looking, like you said, Jack, they're looking for an unprecedented three-peat, and it's going to be a long season, though. So I don't necessarily think this Kansas City team we see tonight is going to be playing the same way or having the same mojo as the one we see, come January and hopefully February for their sake. So you definitely have to be cautious. And we saw last year with the opening game of the season where the Lions ended up um, beating Kansas City in their turf, right? And that ended up being a bit of a sign of things to come for Detroit, obviously having a good year, and people may be asking question marks about Kansas City, and well, this could be a slow season for them, and they don't have the weapons, et cetera, et cetera. And then we saw what happened last year is nobody could topple Patrick Mahomes come playoff time. So you're right to point out some of the acquisitions and some of the new faces we'll see for both of these teams tonight. Obviously the big one being Derrick Henry in Baltimore. You're correct. It'll be strange to see him in a uniform that's not a Titans, right? After such a long and successful tenure down there in Nashville for him. But it's definitely going to be uh, a really interesting gear in that Ravens offense this year. And I think Lamar's coming back, and I think he's due for a big season on the ground as well. And having Henry in that backfield should take a lot of pressure off of him and the running game in general down there in Baltimore. And as well, another player to look out for on the Kansas City side is they've got some new weapons. Rookie receiver Xavier Worthy, small guy who's a speedster. Not necessarily think he's going to have a huge game tonight, but they're going to rely on him eventually because Kansas City doesn't really have those star receivers. They're kind of a committee, if you will, at that receiver position, and they rely on Mahomes and Kelsey magic to carry them. But I'm with you, and I think I'm going to take Kansas City as a slight to win this game by a small margin. I think it's going to be close. Close could end up being a bit of a shootout, but I ultimately I think it's not going to be a pretty game from an offensive perspective. I think we're going to see a lot of mistakes. First game of the year, everyone's still a bit rusty. So expect Kansas City to kind of play their way into the game, but I still back the home crowd to get them over the edge tonight.
Well, happy birthday, Jack.
Thank you, Mike.
And I need to respectfully disagree with the other two panelists. I have the Ravens on this one. I think the Ravens will win by 5 points. And the reason is I think Lamar and the whole Ravens team, they're going to be up for this game. They don't want to lose to Kansas City again. And I think that Kansas City is going to miss not having Snead in the secondary. So I would expect the Flowers to have a big game tonight. And I think the Ravens pass rush is better than it was back last January. And then with the addition of Henry to help the running game, I see this as a win for Baltimore. So, but the good news is I'm always wrong in my predictions. So,
well,
that's not true.
Yeah, well, we shall see how this game plays out. I'm sure, we'll talk more about it next Thursday when we discuss the final result. Blake, great to be with you. I'm sorry you're sick. We're thinking of you and pulling for you, but great to have you. I got to ask you, do you agree with my pick that I made on the show?
And I'm assuming since Mike said he disagrees that you picked the shirt, the hat you have on, and the stadium. Jackson, that's a lot of parking in there. I don't think I've ever seen that much parking. They should have no issues on game day tailgating at that place.
What do you expect? They are on the show earlier. They are known for their barbecue and by far supposed to be one of the best tailgating scenes in all of the NFL. In
That's
fact,
good to know.
They are right next to the Kansas City Royals of the MLB. So it just makes it I think one of the most passionate sports towns in all of America.
Yeah. Looks like if you hit a golf ball dead center, it end up in the football stadium.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like it for a team that's out in the great Midwest where it's really a kind of a football kind of the vibe there. So those fans are really into it and they love it.
Mike, I wish we had more baseball stadiums that you could hit the ball over the entire stadium. A little Cubs action, a little Chicago,
Yeah.
San Francisco Giants Bay action. You
Yeah.
know, how many of those stadiums are left where you can hit it outside of the stadium?
Well, Cincinnati, America's ballpark, you can hit one out. Of course, San Francisco's got a fairly new stadium, and they built it specifically so they could have McCovey's Cove out there,
It's so cool.
which is just awesome. But yeah, I think some of the newer stadiums are because they're all getting to be right around 40K, 40,000 people.
Oh,
So
they're
not
going
this-
smaller. You're right.
Yeah, they're not going to these big, huge, 80,000 seat multiple use stadiums anymore.
You know, it was funny. Speaking of, and I love how they transition. But I looked at the old Turner Field because they had one of the first football games was a MEAC football game on TV a few weeks ago, and it was in Turner. So it was like two teams playing in Turner. And it was so interesting. I couldn't get a grip on how they turned that field to make it a football field, but it was very interesting. It's really interesting when they do that to me, how they make these. The old, what was it? The last one would have been Kansas City or San Fran. Who had the last multi-use stadium?
Candlestick Park probably was one of the last ones.
Yeah.
A lot of times what they do, they go diagonally from home plate all the way to the center field to line up the football field.
Okay. Jackson, that's almost like I think the Tampa Bay Rowdies soccer team. I think that's what they did, where the Jackie Robinson used to play down there in Tampa. I think that's how they set theirs up, right there on the water, on the bay.
Yeah, I think you're right. It just really the idea of the setup of being a soccer stadium like right across the water there in downtown St. Pete just makes it just very unique and special.
That's what it was, St. Pete. You're right.
Yes.
So Blake, what's your pick for the game tonight?
Yeah, sorry, Blake. Way to land that plane. I got a little sidetracked on that. God, y'all, I mean, how can you be right on this? You got two. I mean, you guys have already talked about it, but my gosh, you got two. You got a guy who's won Super Bowls. You got a guy who's probably arguably the hungriest and most deserved guy to win a Super Bowl out there. I mean, oh man, and it doesn't help that I got the tight end. I got Taylor Swift's boyfriend, also known as Kelsey, on my fantasy team, so that hurts me a little bit. But I think Baltimore's baseball team is going to slingshot their football team into success tonight. And those fans in Baltimore, they got a lot to cheer for in sports right now. I think some of those DC fans are going to shoot down there and enjoy some of it. But I think Baltimore is going to win.
All right, B.L. Lumberger is picking Baltimore to win the game.
So we got a split, huh, Jack?
Yeah.
That's right.
Hark the Raven evermore.
If he gets it right, and then
Jackson, I think Lamar's mom, when putting that helmet on in the backyard and playing tackle football with him all those years, got him ready for this moment. I think they win.
All right. Blake B. Lumber's taking the Ravens. I got the Chiefs. And I think Blake is on the Chiefs, and I think Mike's on the Ravens. I think we're all split, so there's that. All right.
Could be
next game. This one's going to be playing globally on tomorrow night live from. And before I move on, the Ravens Chiefs game will be airing tonight on your NBC station. So make sure to tune in to that game tonight, just so I forgot before I move on to the next game.
Thank goodness with these ESPN Disney disputes. Thank goodness we can get off a game, not on ESPN right now. So that's good, Jack.
Well, just well, at least you have some other options to watch.
That's right.
Despite all those contract disputes, like many
That's right.
fighters have gone through since the last few years. So stuff that we just gotta deal with from time to time. So as I mentioned about a second ago, we have a game being played in South America, in Brazil. We're talking Packers Eagles on Friday night. The matchup, what was supposed to be a great showdown between, and it's going to be the first ever NFL game be played on Friday from Brazil in South America. Nothing quite like it. We have the matchup between Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love. This to me is going to be a great matchup. The predictor says has favored Philadelphia to win this game. But I think on the other side, you have Jordan Love, who's starving and just hoping to get and hope to believe that the Green Bay Packers this season think they got the team to possibly make possibly one of those possibly maybe a dark horse team to make a run into the playoffs, at least other than the top leaders in the NFC North would be one of the teams to keep an eye on. But for me, who I have winning this game, I'm going to be leaning towards the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. I think they're going to be pounding the ball, moving the ball, and I think that Philadelphia is just a better team. I think they're going to win this game, and I think Philadelphia is going to cover. Philadelphia wins the game.
Yeah, I like that pick, Jack, and you're right. It's a really I wonder, I'm tipping my hand, I think, with my sweater that I'm wearing right now. Sweater season's coming early this year, and especially in down there in Brazil. So
Is that the new way to spell Falcons?
yeah, this is basically the more optimal bird I've slowly discovered. This bird definitely flies a bit higher and has a general better track record than the other bird. So we'll leave it there for now. But it's going to be exciting to see sort of the fan reception and the excitement for the first game in South America, as you mentioned there, Jack. And I think it's going to be a really exciting game, and maybe the travel factor will play a bit of a part to play in this game in terms of who's favored. Now you mentioned the Eagles are slight favorites. To me, this is a bit of a coin flip game. Obviously, there's no real home field advantage or anything like that. It's two teams playing on a neutral site quite far away, lots of travel, etc. So this could be a real unpredictable one on the face of it, but surprisingly, I'm gonna also pick the Eagles, and I think they're gonna be wary of coming out flat, given how disappointing their season ended last year, right? And we'll talk about it a bit later, but when we talk about the divisions more specifically, but I think the Eagles definitely have a point to prove this year, and a lot of people are down on them after the way things ended last year. So I would expect a hot start down there in Sao Paulo. So yeah, give me the birds over the cheese.
Well, I'm gonna beat a curmudgeon this week. Respectively, I would disagree.
Oh no.
I think there's two questions for the Eagles. How much are they going to miss Jason Kelce on their offensive line?
Good point.
And can the Eagles secondary cover anybody? The Eagles were like 26 in defense last year, I believe. I've got all the love on this one. I think he's gonna do it. I mean, you look at what the Pack did at the end of last year, and they took it to the Cowboys in the playoffs. but that's the Cowboys as a different team. But I there's, like you said, the Eagles don't have any home field advantage on this one. So I think it's going to be a tight game. But I think Love is going to pull it out. He's going to throw a couple TDs against the Eagles secondary. I got the Cheeseheads on this one.
I think speaking of Love, Jackson, those Packers love to do this thing called the leap, but
Oh yeah,
this weekend they're going to be doing a lot of Sao Paulo leaps, and I think they're going to win too. I think go Pack go, a little Love action, and I think they're going to be doing the Sao Paulo leap 3 times this tomorrow in Brazil, and you can't spell Brazil without S, and you can't spell success without S. So I think that makes sense, and the Packers win.
And the Packers colors are closer to the Brazil's flag than the Eagles.
That's true. That's true.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, the green and yellow might just be the difference. But yeah, I guess we're split again, Jack. We're gonna have to watch tomorrow night and find out.
Yep. Only way to find out is just you have to watch the games and just have to wait and see what happens and have to wait and see what happens whenever the games kick off. Is that everything's unpredictable. Nobody really knows until the game kicks off. So that's just what makes the NFL great. It's just one of those things that you just never really know. It's just that's the beauty of it, and you just have to watch and see and find out. Let's move on now and talk about divisions by divisions. We will start off with the AFC and NFC teams, and we will start off with the AFC East. The first 4 teams in that division, we have the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and New England Patriots, and the New York Jets. I think I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to win that defense, just because to win that division, just because they have Josh Allen. The Patriots, it's hard to replace Tom Brady. They don't have another Tom Brady in New England. And
they're hoping it's Drake May, but probably not this year though, right?
Well, think about it. If they were to start Drake May, well,
they're not starting him.
Yeah, well, at least they didn't draft McCarthy.
I know, but since they're not driving Drake May, which would be great, but it would be great. But I'll get back to him in a second. But to your for my point about the Buffalo Bills, ever since Josh Allen first came in the league, they have been by far the best team to favor to win in the division ever since he entered the league, along with Sean McDermott. Although I will tell you, that the women's pro tennis player Julia Partriga, who is the owner of the Buffalo Bills, happens to be co-owners of the team, who is a star player for the U.S. women's tennis team, who is currently still alive in the women's U.S. Open right now, which I want to get a shout out, by the way. And
yeah, I mean, I think the Bills are a good shout as well, but I think the Jets are going to be an interesting team to look at this year with Rodgers coming back, right? And
yes,
it's going to be curious to see. It's going to be a boom or bust if Rodgers comes back and he's a Rodgers we know, then the Jets could be not only a contender in that division, but a contender in the AFC. So I
hope he gets more than 4 snaps this year.
That's going to be the key, yeah, for sure. So I think the Bills are a good pick, and maybe the Jets take a flyer on them with Rodgers. Miami's always dangerous with their weapons as well, right? So definitely interesting division.
So yeah, you're picking the Jets, Blake, right?
I'm gonna go for the Jets, yeah, just for a bit of variance.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I'm gonna pick the Dolphins.
Hmm.
Mm.
I think this is probably one of the few divisions where you can really make a good case for three teams. So
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bills are a good pick, but I think the offensive weapons that Dolphins have, I'll pick the Dolphins to win the AFC East.
See,
No,
Nice.
they must be seeing something in that coach. They just re-signed his
right here.
contract, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that guy, what an interesting guy. Couldn't be a bigger fan. Kind of seems like a guy who grew up learning all his football knowledge from a video game and transferring it into a real life scenario. And so I'm liking how it's working out. They got a little bit of offensive firepower down there. They're fun to watch. You got a little. They're the Dion. They're the Colorado of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
prime time in Miami.
That's right.
Interesting. Yeah. So the point I made earlier, her name is Jessica Petroia, and believe it or not, she is a co-owner and of the Buffalo Bills organization. So who's currently still in it at the women's tennis US Open, by the way. So she is a long lived Buffalo Bills fan who's current who's who currently is involved with the organization. Shout out to her as she took down the #1 player Isaiah Swarovski. She's currently playing. She currently advanced through the US Open's women's semifinals right now in tennis. But back to your point to the Bills. Yeah, the Bills are definitely a great team to beat. I think that with the addition with their best star players, obviously in the addition of losing Deshaun Diggs. Now with obviously he was there about a season ago, but yeah, and if they stay healthy, nobody is catching them or slowing them down. Probably by far the second best team in the AFC behind only the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, like it is every year. So, but as far but about the Jets, yeah, look, Aaron Rodgers has suffered an injury against that same player who it was against the Bills, who they faced against in one of the few opening snaps plays during the opening kickoff of that game. Now get to see that same player who plays with the 49ers now and gets to get a little revenge of him this time, if you know what I'm talking about. That player who actually sacked Aaron Rodgers, which suffered a Achilles injury. That'll be something I'll keep an eye on and watch, and that'll definitely be something to probably keep our eyes on as the season goes forward.
all right, Jack, what's the next division? We gotta keep this thing moving.
Let's speed it up and talk about the AFC North. This one's a pick'em, and pretty interesting to me, because the way I look at it, I see Cleveland getting a little better on defense. The Bengals have question marks with their star receiver in a contract holdoff. Joe Burrow just trying to stay healthy. And then you got Pittsburgh, who obviously I'm sure you've heard that their star quarterback Russell Wilson has injured in practice, which is really which to me is really going to be a tough decision for Mike Tomlin. And then after that, the Ravens, who were this close to making the Super Bowl, obviously losing to our Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, but obviously the stakes are high with now adding with a full powerful running backer of, thanks in large part to adding addition of Derrick Henry. So I think the Ravens are going to win the division, but it'll be a very close one. And I have Cincinnati, Cleveland, Ravensford, and Pittsburgh will finish in 4th place.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar to you, Jack. I think ultimately I just have too many question marks about the other three teams in the division, being Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh. And I just have the least amount of questions about Baltimore. I kind of know what I'm going to get from them. John Harbaugh got his team well coached every year. I think Derrick Henry is only going to add to this team. I don't think he's going to be a negative in any way, as long as he stays healthy. So, yeah, I think Baltimore is going to win this division. And to be honest, I think they might win it pretty easily. I'm pretty down on Cincinnati. I think Burrow's banged up. He's got a bad wrist. I think that's never a good sign. Like you said, Pittsburgh's got question marks. They're not really sure who their quarterback's going to be come, November. And Cleveland, I just not really sure about their quarterback situation. Deshaun Watson's never really kicked on there in Cleveland. They've got a good defense, but yeah, I think Baltimore's a pretty clear winner for me.
Baltimore,
Mike. Yeah,
Ravens.
yeah. You've already
Yep.
given your pick for tonight, so you're back in the boys in purple, right?
Yep. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I think the other
Yeah.
three they'll just play 500.
Yeah, Blake made all great points, Blake. Baltimore.
Fair enough, Jack. I think we're all on Baltimore. Who want to go to the South next?
Yes, let's actually go to the AFC West now, where we have
Okay.
Denver Broncos, and they welcome their new star quarterback, Bo Nix, who will get his first snap and taste as a professional player, coming off his last few seasons as a Oregon Duck in college, as one of the Heisman Trophy finalists and possibly winner. He will now get his shot at being possibly the star of one of the upcoming quarterbacks of the future for this John Elway beloved storied franchise Denver Broncos team. I think they'll have I think they'll have a pretty solid year, but they won't be as great as Kansas City. Even though they play in the same division, I can tell you that right now. And then Kansas City, well, we all know, well, obviously we know about them because they are by far every single year they win the division every year without question. That's pretty easy. Nobody who would have thought that. And then Vegas, right? The do a Chris Berman impression here. The Raiders. Yeah, that's right. Shout out to Chris Berman who does this accent there. They're going to be pretty good, but they're not going to be that great. I can just say they're pretty solid. But and then the Chargers, well, now they just hired is really something exciting to watch because they just hired Jim Harbaugh, who was coming off a national championship win and during his tenure with the Michigan Wolverines, now gets his taste and shot as Chargers head coach to see if his play calling will work like he did in San Francisco and Stanford and Michigan. Who knows? Maybe the Chargers can maybe, probably won't happen, but anytime soon, but maybe they can have a shot at the Kansas City Chiefs for the division. But as a fan, I don't think I want to see that happening. But I think the Chargers and the Chiefs will be the teams I will definitely I think will be the teams that will stay competitive in the division. I have Chiefs first, Chargers second, Raiders third, Broncos third, Raiders in last place.
Yeah, I think you make some good points there, especially your Raiders impression, of course. Tough to look past Kansas City in that top spot. Not really much else to add for them than what we've already said. But yeah, I think the two teams. I think you're right to point out Denver and seeing how Bo Nix is going to do. Sean Payton really reached a lot. You could say in terms of the draft. For Bo Nix going, I think he went 12th overall in the draft, if I'm not mistaken, or around that range, which is obviously a lot higher than his draft grade. But ultimately, the Broncos felt like he was what they needed to run that offense. He's kind of a bread and butter kind of quarterback where he gets the ball out and he's accurate. He's not going to really wow you. So that's what Sean Payton was looking for from that quarterback position. And so they're definitely putting a lot on his shoulders, and we'll see how he does there. But I kind of like the Chargers for a good wild card spot here because I just think Jim Harbaugh is just a really good coach, and does a really good job of setting a culture whenever he gets to a new spot. We saw it with the 49ers. We saw it with Michigan, and I think Chargers have enough talent to hang around. Definitely not enough to topple Kansas City in that division, but I think enough to go to the playoffs. So
I got the Chiefs in the West. I don't think it'll be too much of a contest. The surprise team this year I've got is the Broncos. You have Bo Nix teamed up with Troy Franklin again. They were together at Oregon, and they're back together now in the Broncos. I think that's going to be a good matchup to watch. I think the
the Broncos
Chargers
have a better year than the Chargers. You think?
I think so. I think the Chargers are a little bit jinxed. They need to go back to San Diego. But anyway,
They are a bit of a cursed franchise. You're not wrong.
yeah. Chiefs in the AFC West.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same. It kind of stinks for the Chargers that even when they did good, they couldn't even get fans. So you know what's their incentive? You know, they had a great season and they still couldn't get fans. So yeah, Chiefs win the division as well.
Fair enough. Onto the AFC South, Jack.
Everybody's on the Chiefs, and let's move to the AFC South, where we have the Tennessee Titans. They are going to be having a great defense. They're going to be a very solid team. I think they'll be a team to watch. Indianapolis, they are going to be fun to watch. They have Anthony Richardson. This team's going to be, if they stay healthy with their with one of their star players, I think they're going to be I think they're going to be very competitive in that division. And then you got Jacksonville. I just think I got question marks for this team. They're probably going to be a bit out of it for me, depending on how healthy they are with this. Depending on how healthy Trevor Lawrence and the team goes. And then finally, the Houston Texans. I think this team, Houston Texans, with the additions they made in the offseason and for this roster, this team's going to be good. They're going to have a lot of talent. I think this team's going to be tough to beat. And if I had to pick those four teams in the AFC, I have the Texans winning the AFC South.
Yeah, Texans are a big team. They're getting a lot of preseason hype, and I mean, rightfully so. We saw how great CJ Stroud was in his rookie year. He really blew everyone away, given the expectations for him and that team. And they've added obviously Stephon Diggs from Houston, and you'd expect all those young players to really take a step up, and they've already got a lot of talent on that roster. So I think this is a bit of a tricky division, and it always is. Just thinking back previous seasons, AFC South, you never really know who's going to come out of this division. And like we've seen before, CJ Stroud's breakout year last year, this division has always been a bit of a coin flip where we had, Mike Vrabel's Titans were always grinding away wins and finishing great, and Trevor Lawrence has been up and down. So I think it's going to come down to, I think Tennessee is going to be in rebuilding mode with their new coach there. I don't think Will Levis is the answer. So I think Trevor Lawrence, he's kind of always been, we've been waiting for him to take that next step, and it hasn't quite happened yet to the level that maybe we thought when he was entering the draft as, one of the best quarterback prospects we've seen in a long time. So I think if he's going to take a big step, it's going to be this year. I'm still a big Houston fan division, and I think also the same can be said. A big question mark is with Anthony Richardson. He's definitely a preseason darling for a lot of people, particularly in fantasy, because of his ability running the ball from the quarterback position. So if he's able to stay healthy and put up some big numbers, that could be exciting. Might not translate to a huge amount of wins for the Colts, but definitely a player to watch. But I can't pick against Houston just based off the evidence that we saw last year.
Yeah, I've got the Texans winning the AFC South myself. I think CJ Stroud, he's got 3 solid receivers to throw to, including Diggs. The only downgrade is, or not, the only comment is, is Diggs going to be happy being potentially the third target as opposed to the number one target. But I think the Texans win the South.
I'm gonna go on a limb and I'm gonna get crazy with the with the Jaguars. I'm gonna go off the rails a little bit. It just hurts me with the chance the Panthers had a chance to get CJ, so I just can't, in good faith, pick the Texans. So I'm gonna get all, and it's hard in good faith to pick a Clemson quarterback, but I'm gonna go Jags.
Hey, Jack, what do they say in Jacksonville?
Let me hear it.
Duval, right? No?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
All right, he's not
and
playing along. He's not
Linebackers-
playing along. What can I do?
And Bill Lineberger's all over. So there you go. There you go.
All right, on to the NFC for us next,
Coming out
Jack.
to the NFC North.
Ooh, this is a good
NFC North.
division.
So, yeah, absolutely. Definitely a
Well,
tough, yeah,
maybe.
definitely a tough one to really think about, as this is going to be really one of those unpredictable unpredictable ones this season. So let's start us off with the Chicago Bears. Obviously, we know about their starting new star quarterback in the former USC quarterback Caleb Williams, who will become the possible new franchise quarterback for the city, for all the city to really cheer about, which I feel like people in Winning City should really be excited and really to cheer about for what this fan base has to deliver. And I feel like, to me, that will be something to keep my eye on for sure. The Detroit Lions, they were coming off their with the 28-point lead meltdown from the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. The Lions will definitely be the Lions under Dan Campbell will always be good and have talented, despite always having dreams of hosting the championship parade, which are now thrown off the window, which now just now you have to start all over again, have to deal with that. And then you got the Green Bay Packers, who, like you mentioned, give a lot of love to Jordan Love for the beloved Cheesehead. Everybody in Lambeau will do the more leap, like I mentioned in the South Brazil Sao Paulo game or in the show, that Jordan Love will give the fans a cheer about at Lambeau, especially when they do the Lambeau week with his teammates. They'll definitely be excited more. They'll be definitely more excited to cheer about up there in Lambeau. He will definitely be a star player, but he will still be very young and just and he will give him some time to learn from his offense. It just takes time. Aaron Rodgers did this, and so did Brett Favre. It just takes time to develop for all quarterbacks, especially for Green Bay. His time will come. It just won't be right now. It'll probably be like 10 years from now. That's probably where his time to shine. So
10 years. Wow.
And finally, Minnesota, they got question marks in the quarterback position, because it was supposed to be JJ McCarthy. Now it's going to be Marcus Mariota. So it's really going to be
Sam Darnold.
Yes, sorry, Sam Darnold. Yeah, yes, yeah, Sam Darnold. Yeah, so Sam Darnold. Yeah, so now Sam Darnold is your starting QB. So now it's going to be just, to me, it's just going to be a tough question and just a big question mark for me for this team. That's where the weakness is, and that's just where I'm at with the NFC North. So if I had to pick,
Yeah, I think, yeah. Who do you got for number one?
I think you're going to be a bit surprised, but although I don't think you guys are. I am going to be taking the Chicago Bears to win.
What?
That's right.
That's a bold pick.
Wow. I like it. I like it.
Finally win an NFC division, and if they get lucky, maybe they can win a playoff game. And even though I will say that, let me just say, he is not Patrick Mahomes. Nobody's like Patrick Mahomes, because there's one Patrick Mahomes That's why nobody's like him, because there's only one. He's very special. But I think Caleb Williams, if the Bears stay healthy all year, then I think they can maybe make it to a deep playoff run, to at least, let's say, in the second or third round, if they get healthy. That's just
I like the boldness. Yeah, that's a bold pick. I think
that makes a year on Good Guy Sports. Bears
yeah,
take the NFC North.
that's a bold pick, man. That would be quite the statement coming out in your rookie year and finishing over Detroit and Green Bay. Unfortunately, I don't quite have that same level of confidence. I'm gonna go with Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions to win that division. I think this is gonna be one of the better divisions in the NFL. I think Chicago will be a good team. I think Caleb Williams will be good. Maybe not good enough to win it. And then obviously Green Bay and Jordan Love are a really strong team as well. They'll definitely be a playoff team, Detroit and Green Bay for sure. And honestly, Minnesota won't even be too bad of a team either. I think, as far as backup quarterbacks go, and Sam Darnold's a pretty solid one. And to be fair, you might have even argued he wouldn't have even been the backup quarterback if McCarthy even was healthy, given McCarthy's inexperience coming into the league. So they still have, these the receiver. I'm blanking on his name right now, but Jefferson, who's one of the best receivers, if not the best in the NFL. So they have talent. So this is going to be a really tough division. I'm picking Detroit to win it though, narrowly over Green Bay.
Yeah, I have Detroit winning the black and blue division.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take Green Bay.
It's a good pick. Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of people are really high in Green Bay, so it's I think this is gonna be like we said, there's gonna be some good teams in this one.
Yeah, like this is a coin flip.
Certainly. Where are you looking next, Jack?
We are looking at the Uncle Mike's division, the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys. They have been in the sports news lately. They have got question marks about their quarterback and their and one of their star players. They have been in the offseason. They have been in the news for offseason contracts and negotiations. Probably since the start of training camp, and of course Jerry Jones, and the more playoff disappointments for the Cowboys. You got to think the Cowboys win a division, but yet they can't win a playoff game since the 1990s. Probably when
Are you picking the Cowboys to finish first, Jack?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, the Cowboys, to me, are just, there's too many question marks for this team. So the Cowboys, the Cowboys will win the division, but I just got question marks for them heading into the postseason. So there's
Jackson, I want to know who Mike thinks is going to finish first in the NFC East.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say mine, but
we don't. Yeah, you said the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Well, no, but okay. So
we're running a bit out of time, so I'm trying to speed things up.
I know. I'll make it quick. So I got the Giants second. The Commanders will finish third, and well, I think the Eagles will finish fourth.
Wow.
Wow.
You're saying that to me wearing this sweater right now?
Yeah, I think that's my best guess. But
you think the Eagles are going to finish behind the Commanders?
Well, let me take that back. I think
that's what you just said.
Well,
no, you can't take it back now. You said it.
Yeah, I did.
All right, fair enough. Let's see what Mike thinks.
I got the Eagles winning the NFC East.
There you go.
I think Cowboys coming fourth.
There you go.
Flipped it completely.
Love me some Cowboys slander. I'm the same with Mike. I'm picking the Eagles.
Mighty Quinn will come in second.
There you
Commanders and the Giants will end up in third.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can't argue with that. I think Eagles will have a bounce back year. I've got them first. Dallas probably sneaking in as a playoff team. Giants, Commanders, can be kind of bottom of the NFC, I think. What do you think, Blake?
I'm gonna snag the Eagles as well. Mike's team, the Commanders, is what the talking heads don't know what to do with. They're giving, I think, the most confusion. There's a lot of potential, not last minute, but a lot of people are big on that quarterback up there and don't really know what to do with their record right now.
Yeah, they have They have one of the easiest schedules too.
Oh man, I think they got the biggest potential for upside, maybe in our surprise victories in the league right now is as one of the teams. So I don't know. It'll be maybe some exciting times up there for Washington football, Mike.
Yeah. Hope so.
Yeah.
We're running a show. Let's try to speed it up and finish it off as fast as we can. NFC South. The Falcons, they that to me is a interesting pick for me because you got two quarterbacks that they drafted for the first time ever with Michael Penix Jr. and Kirk Cousins. The Saints, I say they're a dark horse team, but it could be a two quarterback system along with Derek Carr and Taysom Hill. But they're probably not going to win the NFC South, but unlike what Drew Brees did with their during their time there down in the Big Easy in New Orleans. So Tampa, they are going to be a great team because they got the Commanders in week 1. But Tampa, they have a great defense led by Todd Bowles. If Baker Mayfield stays healthy, if Chris Godwin stays healthy, if Mike Evans stays healthy and Rashad Rice stays healthy, they are going to be a tough team to beat. And I say, watch out, keep an eye on them. They're going to be a tough team to beat, especially if they're playing the Falcons. The Bucs are going to be a fun and gun offense team to watch. And then finally, I'm sorry, Blake, but I have to pick it up. But I have the Panthers finishing in last place.
Yeah, I think that's probably what a lot of people have. I'm sure Blake wouldn't take too much offense to that. He wouldn't be the first person to pick them to finish 4th. I gotta go with the Falcons. I gotta roll with my hometown team, even though I'm wearing a different bird on my sweater right now. But I do think they'll be much improved with a new coach and a new quarterback, whether it's Cousins or Penix. We'll see who finishes the year as a quarterback. But I just think this division is not particularly great. So I think if you have to pick one team, I just think the Falcons have the most talent. So I'll roll with them. I don't know what Mike thinks about that, but
Falcons win the NFC South.
Fair enough.
Raheem Morris will be named Coach of the Year.
I like it. A little Coach of the Year prediction. Yeah, I could see that.
Jackson, you're not going to believe this.
What?
Breaking news right now. I just walked by the Panthers today. On the way out of training camp from the training field to the stadium. There's whispers that we're going to be the first team to go from. Did we win a game last year? We went 0-16, right?
Yeah.
0-16.
I think you might have won 1 or 2.
We win one.
Yeah, you guys won quite a few, but
well,
I hate to say this, Blake, be a Weinberger, but you guys didn't really play that great last season. You guys were terrible.
Jackson, it's going to be an exact opposite record year. They're going to flip the record. Okay.
What?
Where
really?
they won 2 or 3 games, they're only going to lose 2 or 3 games this year. They're going to win the division, shock your Atlanta Falcon Dirty Birds. Panthers go to the playoffs and get absolutely destroyed game 1. There you go. You heard it first right there.
Oh, wow.
Breaking news.
Wow, you're crazy.
Big predictions here on Good Guy Sports,
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, Jackson, you picked the Bears to win the NFC North, so
I did. So I'm right there with you, Beal, even though I have different opinions on this. All right. Finally, the NFC West. We have the Rams, the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Seahawks.
It's a good division.
Niners.
I'm looking at now, but don't make your picks yet but very quick. The Cardinals have a young team. I just don't think they're going to be making a playoff run. The Rams, though, on the other team in the division, they have Jimmy Garoppolo, Jerome Bennett. This team won Super Bowl a few years ago in their home stadium at the very nice state-of-the-art SoFi Stadium out there in LA. I have the Rams finishing in seconds. And then next up we got the Seattle Seahawks, which I have them in 3rd place. Obviously they have obviously, the Seahawks, as you know, Mike, have acquired in addition, the former commander, is a former commander is now on the Seahawks roster as their quarterback, along with Geno Smith and DJ Metcalf. The Seahawks will be a pretty interesting team. I just don't think they're that. I just don't think they have quite a talented as the next team I'm going to predict. And finally, last but not least, out of all the teams that we predicted in the division, the San Francisco 49ers. They are by far, as we all know, the best team to beat in the NFC West, just like they were last season. No surprise there. They have former Falcons offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan, now the head coach, leading the helm for the Niners. You got Deebo Samuel. This team's got so many weapons. They got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. I can list all the players going on and on. Brock Purdy and Brandon Allen, and they even got the most entertaining guy in show business, especially when I watch him on Netflix, none other than George Kittle. That's right, from Tight End University. And oh yeah, list goes on and on there, which I saw the series on, which I saw the Netflix series on him, by the way, Blake. Check it out. And then also Weinberg, that is, and then also Trent Williams and then Nick Bosa and all those guys are
Yeah,
just,
it's a good team, Jack. It's a good team. And so
yeah,
you're picking the 49ers.
Yeah.
I'm personally going to be riding with the Seattle Seahawks for my selection, Jackson. I think new coach McDonald is going to win coach of the year over Raheem Morris. So Mike picked that. I'm going to try to trump that pick with Coach McDonald up in Seattle, and I think they're going to have a much improved defense. I think the weapons are good there, and I think Geno Smith is going to have another solid season and keep surprising people. So I'm picking a 49ers regression and a Seahawks upswing for the NFC West champions.
and
That sounds good. You like those birds.
saying,
Big bird guy.
I'm just saying the Niners team looks loaded.
Yeah,
Niners.
let's see what Mike thinks for his pick. You picking Niners, Mike?
Niners all the way.
Fair enough.
Yes,
They got a lot of talent for
same.
sure. You
Same.
picking Niners, Blake? Yeah.
Yeah, Jackson, put your Levi jeans on and get comfortable because the Niners are going to win that division.
Too. They have former Panther Christian McCaffrey. I forgot to mention him. He's on the Niners now. BL Weinberger.
It's the only thing we got going for us, Jackson. Other teams cheering for our players on other teams that are good.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like we made some big predictions, so we'll have to come back to this
Like
show at the end of the season and see if the Bears and Panthers win their respective divisions, huh?
And it looks like all of us are on the 49ers.
Well, except one.
No, I'm going
No.
Seahawks, man.
Except Brother Blake.
So
3 Niners and 1 Seahawk.
Niners, Blake on Seahawks. All right. We're out of time, but real quick, who do you guys have in the Super Bowl? Here's what I think is going to happen. I have Chiefs winning it again. They will repeat.
Wow.
First
time ever.
Repeat and do it like no other team has ever done before in NFL history. The Chiefs are going to repeat and win the third Super Bowl in the third consecutive season. The Chiefs, the Lombardi Trophy will stay in Kansas City.
Sticking with the bird theme, give me the Eagles over the Ravens. Even though I picked the Ravens to lose tonight, I think they're going to win the AFC. But I think the Eagles are going to have a great year. So Eagles over the Ravens for me.
Ravens over the Niners. Ravens win.
I agree with Mike. Ravens over the Niners.
Okay. Lots of Baltimore love here. I'm going to get things wrapped up, Jack.
Yep. Great show, everybody. Great NFL. Great NFL. Great NFL previous season, guys. We will recap and talk more about it next week. Great having you. Enjoy the NFL. Enjoy football season.
It should be a great season, huh, guys?
Right.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll talk to you
NBC
on NBC and Peacock. Got so many options to watch. enjoy the game night, guys. We'll talk to you later. Your guys, Sports, Jackson Durkee, signing off.
Happy birthday, Jack.
We will talk to you guys next week.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
You're right.
everyone.
All right.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Jack.
Jackson.
Happy birthday, Jack.
Goodbye.